Good morning class 9th A and C. Today we will be continuing with chapter 2nd of history, that is socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution. We had started the topic industrial society and social change. In this we studied that the political trends was signs of arrival of a new time. A new industrialized area was developing, industrial revolution was happening and railways were expanding. New cities came up with the Industrial Revolution. Industrialization brought men, women and children to work in industries. Work hours were very long as well as there was huge unemployment in the country. Wages were also very poor. Housing and sanitation became very big problems in the new towns, in the growing towns. Liberals and radicals tried to search for the solutions to contemporary or the issues of that time. Almost all the industries were individuals' property. Liberals and radicals themselves were often property owners and employers. All the industries were owned by individual or single person. Liberals and radicals themselves were often property owners and employers. They made their wealth by trade or industrial ventures, so they felt that these efforts should be encouraged, that its benefits would be gained if the workforce in the economy was healthy and citizens were thus educated. They made their wealth from trading and doing industrial venture, that is building new factories, building new industries or expanding the previous industries. They felt that if we increase the human capital, if we promote the human capital, how can human capital be promoted? Human capital is a very useful resource of our country, of any country. Human capital can be made or developed by education and by providing health facilities. A better human capital is the one which is given education and health facilities. So radicals and liberals believed that the industries can expand, the development can take place if we have better human capital, and that can happen with education and better health facilities. Benefits would be gained if the workforce in the economy, if the human capital in the economy was healthy and citizens were thus educated. Opposed to the privileges the old aristocracy had by birth, they firmly believed in the individual effort value, labor as well as enterprise. They did not believe in the birth-given rights. They were against that. They believed in the individual effort and labor as well as the enterprise. If individuals' freedom was ensured, if the poor could labor and those with capital could operate without restraint, they much believed that societies would develop. The liberals and the radicals were mostly the industrial owners or the industries owners, and they believed that individual's freedom. If individual is given freedom, the poor could labor, the poor could provide their labor, and the capital can be used without restraint, then the capital would be efficiently utilized. See, we have in an economy there are two resources, human capital and physical capital. Human capital we can increase by education and health. We can make it more efficient so that it provides more production, and physical capital we can make it more efficient by utilizing it properly to the optimum level. If we utilize it properly, if we use it properly to the optimum level without any restraint, then the physical capital provides the most production and most profit. If it's not properly utilized, if both the resources are not utilized properly, the resources are wasted. The resources are wasted. So liberals and radicals believe that capital could operate without restraint, then we can increase or develop the societies and increase the industries. Several working men and women who wanted changes in the world came into contact around liberal as well as the radical groups and parties in the early 19th century. Most of the people that were working at that time, they also believed that they should be allowed to work freely. They should be allowed to work wherever they want, and they should be allowed to use the capital, physical capital, as they want. So most of the working men and women wanted change in the world. They wanted to work freely. So they came into contact, they started working with the liberals and radical groups, and they joined the parties of these groups in the early 19th century. Some nationalists, radicals and liberals desired revolution to put an end to the type of the government formed in the Europe in 1850. The nationalists, radicals and liberals wanted change in the society. And how can the change be promoted, or how can the change be brought into the society? Through revolution. So they wanted to bring revolution and put an end to the type of government that was there in Europe in 1850. In France, Italy, Germany, Russia, they became revolutionaries and worked overthrowing existing monarchs. In France, Italy, Germany and Russia, the radicals, nationalists, liberals, they worked for overthrowing or removing the existing monarch or king. Nationalists talk of revolution which created nations where all citizens would have equal rights. Now we studied about radicals, we studied about liberals. Who are the nationalists? Nationalists are the people who talk about revolutions which create nations where all citizens have equal right, where all citizens are equally treated, where they all are free. After 1815, Giuseppe Mazzini, an Italian nationalist, assisted with others to attain this in Italy. They wanted to attain this equal rights in Italy. Nationalists elsewhere, including India, read his writings. Nationalists all over the world, including India, read the writings of the Giuseppe Mazzini, that how he wanted to attain equal rights in Italy and how he led his movement. All the nationalists all over the world read his writings. Now the next topic is the coming of socialism to Europe. Now what is socialism? Socialism is a political and economic theory. It is a political and economic theory of social organization, of how the society has the organizations and institutions which advocates, this theory advocates that the means of production, distribution and exchange should be owned and regulated by the community as a whole. What does this mean? The socialism wanted that all the resources for production, distribution and exchange should be owned and regulated by the community, by the whole nation. All the people gain as a whole. How does this work? The industries are owned by the people themselves. Whoever works in that industry, whoever puts labor in the industry, gains the share of the profit. Not only one person that is at the top of the industry gains the profit, but all the workers also has a portion of the profit. Like in current industries, we can see there is an Reliance industry. Who owns it? Ambani family. Ambani family owns it, and all the profit goes to the Ambani family and the shareholders. The workers only gain wages. They do not have the share of the profit now. They only get wages. So the socialism believed that all the workers, all the people that are putting effort in the industry, in the company, should get a part of the profit. That is, the company or the industry or the whole resources of production, distribution and exchange should be owned and regulated by the community, by the people as a whole. As a whole. So the profit should not only go to the industrialist, it should also go to the workers or all the people that are putting the effort in the industry. I hope the definition of socialism is clear. Perhaps the most far-reaching visions of how society should be structured was socialism. It was the most far-reaching vision or idea that how the society should be structured. By the mid-19th century in Europe, socialism was a famous idealistic body which attracted widespread attention. Why was it idealistic? Because it was like a very good society. It was like an ideal society. How a society should be. It should be equal. And socialism promote equalitarian society, where all the people are treated equally, where all the profits are distributed equally, where all the people gain equal access to the resources. So it's an equalitarian society. So it was an idealistic body. Socialists were against private property and examined it as the root of all social evils of the time. See, Reliance industry or whatever industry we have in our country that is privately owned, only one person owns it, or a group of persons own it, and all the profit goes to that group or that family. Socialist or socialism say that private property should not be there, and it was the root of all the evils of the time. If private property is there, people will only concern themselves with gaining profits. The family or the group will try to gain as much profit as they can. And how can they gain more profits? By reducing the wages, by making the laborers work more hours, so this is how the industrialist can gain more profits, or by raising the price. So you see that only the family or the group are benefiting from the profits. They are reducing the wages, they are making workers work more hours, they are increasing the price to increase their profit. But socialists say the private property should not be there. The industry should be under the people that are working in that industry, the whole of the community, the whole of the country. They should not be under the private people or the individuals. Individuals owned the property that provided employment, but the owners were concerned only with personal profit. Like I just told you in the diagram, that individuals or the family or the group owned the industry, and they were only concerned with what? Their own profits. They were only concerned with their own profits, and not with the welfare of those who made the property productive. Who are making the property productive? The workers are making the property productive. The workers are working and making the products. So they are making the industry productive now. But the individuals are only concerned with their own profits, and they are not taking care of the welfare of the people who are making the property productive. Thus, if society as a whole, rather than single individuals, controlled property, much attention would be paid to collective social interest. Socialists wanted this change and tried for it. So they wanted the society as a whole, the people as a whole, the whole workforce should have the rights or should control the property, not single individuals. That is the way where we can get the maximum welfare. How could a property-less society operate? What could be the basis of a socialist society? But how can this is a very idealistic situation. This is a very good idea, but how can we make it real? Socialists had several visions of the future. Some believed in the ideas of cooperatives. See, the definition of cooperative. The definition of cooperative is a farm, business or other organization which is owned and run jointly by its members who share the profits and benefits. All the people that are working, all the people or all the members of the cooperative that are working, they would share the profits and benefits equally among themselves or jointly. So it is not owned by a family or some shareholders groups or individuals. They are owned by the society as a whole. jointly by its member who share the profits and benefits. So some believed in the idea of cooperatives. So some believed that this idea should be followed, that cooperatives should be made. Robert Owen, 1771 to 1858, a leading English manufacturer, sought to construct a cooperative community named New Harmony in Indiana, USA. He tried to make a cooperative community. He was an English or British manufacturer. Other socialists realized that cooperatives could not be built on a big scale only through individual initiative. See, if only a person, if only Owen is taking the initiative and making his industry cooperative, they demanded that government should inspire cooperatives. That won't happen now. The whole community should come together. So government has to take the initiative and the government has to inspire for cooperatives, so that not only one industrialist, one manufacturer, but all the manufacturers should make the industry cooperative. In France, for instance, Louis Blanc desired the government to encourage cooperatives. In France, Louis Blanc desired that the government should encourage the cooperatives and replace capitalist enterprises. What are capitalist enterprises? Capitalist enterprises are the ones that are controlled by the private owners for profit. Such cooperatives were like an associations of people who produced goods together and divided the profits according to their grouped work. What are the cooperatives? You can read the definition here also. It is an association of people who produce goods together. All the workers that are working in that industry divided the profits according to their grouped work. That how many have worked how much. The profits will be divided according to that. Karl Marx 1818 to 1883 and Friedrich Engels 1820 to 1895 added a few other ideas to these arguments. The socialist arguments were there, that how the society should be structured, how the community should work as a whole and share the resources and share the profits. There should not be private owners, there should not be profit going to only these private owners. So Karl Marx and Engels added to these arguments, added to these ideas. Marx advised that industrial society was capitalist. Marx told that industrial society, the society of that time, was capitalist. What is the meaning of capitalism? An economic and political system in which a country's trade and industry are controlled by private owners for profit. Individuals, group of individuals, shareholders and the family. They are the private owners and they work only for their own profit. They do not care about the workers or the other people in that industry. Or even the consumers that will be buying the things. They are only working for their own profit. So Marx advised that industrial society was capitalist. Capitalists owned the capital invested in factories, as well as the profit of capitalist was produced by the workers. Capitalists owned what? Capital. I told you about physical capital. The capitalist owned physical capital that was invested in factories, like the machinery and the factory itself. As well as the profit of capitalist was produced by the workers. But what happens? The profit is produced by who? The workers, because workers are working there now. So all the profit is being produced by the workers, as they are the ones that are really working. The conditions of workers could not improve as long as this profit was accumulated by the private capitalist. As long as the profit only goes to the private owners or private capitalists, the workers could not be improved. The condition of workers or the welfare of workers could not be improved. Workers had to overthrow capitalism and the rule of private property. What does the workers has to do? The workers have to overthrow or take out the capitalism and rule of private property. Marx believed that if workers desired to free themselves from capitalist exploitation, they had to build a radically socialist society. What do they have to do if the workers want change? If the workers want change, they have to end the capitalist exploitation. Because what are capitalists doing? For their own profits, they are making the workers work more hours, they are giving lesser wages, they are increasing the prices. So If the workers want to free themselves from the capitalist exploitation, they had to build a radically socialist society. They have to change the society to a socialist way, where all property was socially controlled, where a single owner or a private owner does not own the property, but it is owned by socially. It is owned by all the people. It would be a communist society. It would be a communist society. That is socialist society where all the people have equal rights and equal share of the profit, equal share of the freedom. He was convinced that workers would obtain success in their conflict with capitalists. He was convinced that workers can obtain success in their conflict with capitalists, because capitalists are very few, the owners are very few, the workers are in huge numbers. A communist society was the natural society of the future. Marx believed that a communist society, communist is a socialist society that gives equal weightage to all, that gives equal rights, equal share of profits to all. It is the natural society of the future. Up till now, we read the definition of socialism. What does the ideas of Karl Marx and Engels were added to the socialism? That they wanted the exploitation to end and they wanted the workers to stand for themselves and make a communist society. Now we will go on to the second topic for today. Support for socialism. By the 1870s, socialist ideas spread through the entire Europe. The socialism idea started in 1815, mid-19th century, 1815s, and by 1870s, the socialist ideas spread through the entire Europe. To coordinate their efforts, socialists formed an international body known as the Second International. To coordinate, because the idea is in entire Europe, in different countries. So to coordinate their efforts for bringing the socialist nation or socialist community, they made an international body known as the Second International. Workers in England and Germany also started forming associations to struggle for better living and working conditions. Workers in the country like England and Germany, where the Industrial Revolution was the highest, they also started forming association. Workers started forming association. We can say it was workers' union to struggle for better living and working condition. What do they wanted? They wanted better living and working condition. They set up funds to help the members in times of distress and demanded a reduction of working hours and the voting rights. See, in starting we studied that the workers or the poor people didn't have voting rights. The women didn't have voting rights as well as the workers, the lower people, the poor people didn't have voting rights. So they demanded that working hours should be reduced as well as they should be given the voting rights. In Germany, such associations worked closely with the Social Democratic Party and helped it to win parliamentary seats. In Germany, what happened? There was a party, Social Democratic Party. The socialist organizations or the working organizations worked closely with Social Democratic Party and helped it to win parliamentary seats. By 1905, trade unionists and socialists built a Labour Party. Trade unionist means worker unions, and the socialist built a Labour Party in Britain and a socialist party in France. However, till 1914, socialists never got a chance in forming a government in Europe. They won a few seats, but they never got the chance to form a proper government. Illustrated by strong figures in parliamentary politics, their ideas shaped legislation. They had parliamentary seats, they had parliamentary positions and politicians in the parliament. So their ideas shaped legislation. Legislation is laws. While governments continued to be run by conservatives, liberals and radicals. In such countries, they couldn't form the government. They just won some seats. So they formed or they built some legislation according to their ideas, but the governments was still run by conservatives, liberals and radicals. So here we conclude for today. In the next class we will be starting with the topic, the Russian Revolution.